The only thing more baffling about Animal Crossing than its mere premise is the series' explosive popularity in both Japan and America, and its unexpected mainstream appeal. If I had absolutely no idea what this game was and somebody came up to me and tried to explain the appeal of a game where you're not shooting terrorists and climbing radio towers, I'd probably try and get away from them because that's a very odd way to approach a stranger and they might be dangerous. However, I'd also be curious to explore exactly how a game like Animal Crossing can manage to be fun and entertaining while deviating away from the standard gameplay types that we've come to appreciate and understand. But everybody already knows what makes Animal Crossing enjoyable, right? There's a million videos and articles out there that comment on how enjoyable it is to manage your town, go fishing, dig for fossils, buy furniture, all that boring junk that the frauds at IGN get paid for shitting out. But I've always been disappointed at the lack of discussion around the game's personality and general attitude, which is strange, because when you think about it, that's one of the most vital elements to the game's popularity. Cute animals and hyper-stylized visuals beat the crappy generic Sims games anytime. That's why you'll find Animal Crossing merchandise at any respectable GameStop or Hot Topic you go to. But I so often find that most people brush off Animal Crossing's personality as just cutesy and colorful without actually looking at what makes these worlds so endearing beyond their aesthetics. There's a lot more going on here than most people realize, and Animal Crossing has always been a series that I wish more people would try to analyze and discuss. In 1986, a man named Katsuya Eguchi moved from his home in Chiba to work at Nintendo headquarters in Kyoto. While Eguchi's work at Nintendo and his love for video games got him a spot as the lead director of Star Fox and chief designer of Yoshi's Story, he often felt lonely and out of place, being over 300 miles away from his home in a place full of unfamiliar people. And of course, just as any genius would do, he took those emotions and made a video game about it. Eguchi wished not only to create an experience wherein the player could form close bonds and become friends with virtual beings, but also aimed to recreate the feeling of being thrust into a strange environment. Animal Crossing, originally known in Japan as Animal Forest, was a passion project by a man who wished to instill very specific emotions in players, and that is the area in which it exceeds just about every expectation you could have for it. The original American version of Animal Crossing for the GameCube has some of the most unexpectedly hilariously snide and cynical dialogue of any game I've ever played. This was definitely toned down in later installments of the series to keep with Nintendo's child-friendly image, but I guarantee that you will be surprised at the stuff that comes out of these animals' mouths. One of the biggest appeals of Animal Crossing for me that almost never gets talked about is how genuine and well-written most of the dialogue is. The villagers in this game talk and behave like real people. They lose stuff, they hold grudges, and they have insecurities and prejudices. They're fun to hang around, and interacting with them never gets stale. I have literally had animals come up and mug me. Seriously, they will just walk up to you and steal your shit. It is genuinely hilarious and endearing how all of the villagers are legitimately mean and rude. The original Animal Crossing really does hit just the right balance with the dichotomy between its colorful, saccharine aesthetics and the lighthearted yet comically cynical writing. And all of it would be for naught if it didn't always feel so genuine. The medium of gaming has always had the unique disadvantage of being mostly written by idiots. In a landscape where most dialogue carries all the tact and prose of an eviction notice, it's always refreshing to see a game that gets it right. And you can tell they made at least some likable characters just by looking at the sheer amount of fan art out there. Has there ever been a truer case of the hedgehog's dilemma than a character who literally embodies the metaphor? Every single aspect of Animal Crossing's presentation unifies to construct a world that can make you nostalgic for a time that never existed. The game's simplicity and cheerful tone is almost reminiscent of the 90s anime I used to watch on VHS when I was younger. There's always this really beautiful sincerity to the games, something rare and special that's not quite like anything else. You're always encouraged to take your time and do stuff you wouldn't usually find yourself doing in video games. There's no XP bonus for waking up at 6 AM and participating in the weird Ragio Taiso aerobics. The reward is just participating and enjoying it in the moment. Nintendo has always been a company that seems to understand what people play video games for, to have fun and to chill the fuck out. And Animal Crossing is one of the most beautiful examples of how you don't need to be constantly shooting aliens in the dick and teabagging 12-year-olds to have fun and chill the fuck out. Sometimes you just want to cross-dress and gaze at the stars.